My name is Lee Blake. I am 20 years old and I live at Sunnyside House in Aveley. So I used to live in Tilbury with my mum and my sister, and the extent of my independence would be me sitting in my room playing video games and nothing else. I was bullied at school, so there was just after I left primary school, and I think it was like year 8, mum decided to take me out of school and homeschool us, and that's kind of like when I had no contact with our outside world, basically. I moved to Sunnyside House in June or July, so I've been here for quite a long time now. I've got to know this place very well, and everybody who works here and everybody who lives here as well. My feelings towards moving in here was very negative to start off with. Like, it was a blatant no every time I was asked, but then I kind of had no other options apart from here. And so when I moved in here, I think it was 4 or 5 days without me even leaving my room. And there was one of the staff members here called Sam. She'd always come in and see if I was right, knocking on my door, and where I won't come out for lunch or dinner, she'd bring it to me. And one day the caretaker here, Danny, he asked me if I wanted to help him with the garden, and when I'm uncomfortable, I'm not rude. So I would just blatantly say yes to him, and so he showed me around the garden, and we sat on the bench, started talking about football and stuff like that, just common interests. Then, every now and then, another staff member come up to me and started speaking, and before that, I never wanted to go back into my room. The reason why I wasn't happy with moving, because all I was told about this place was that it's where people with learning disabilities go and learn independent skills. I don't have any learning disabilities. Only the depression I got diagnosed with while I was here. So it was a bit weird because I haven't been around people with learning disabilities my whole life. Like, I've been in my room my whole life. I just didn't know how to react to people like that. Like, I barely had any communication with like normal people. So it was very hard to come into a place where people have learning disabilities and not know anything about them. When they told me that they were going to show me how to be independent, I was ecstatic. Like, this was like something that I wanted my whole life, because I've relied on people my whole life, and I've had a lot of people relying on me, which was a big weight. So me kind of like learning how to be independent and be able to take control of my life is a massive thing for me, because like where I grew up wasn't the best of places, or I didn't have the best home. So being independent is just great. The independent skills that I've been putting into practice has been just going out by myself was a big thing, because I have a very weird mind. So my mind contemplates everything that's going to happen. That if I go outside, my mind will be like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. 9 times out of 10, none of that happens. But just the fear of knowing that something could happen is what would stop me. So me starting to go outside with another member of staff, just me and the other member of staff, I had someone to rely on. And now the way my mind looks at it now is like, that person's always there with me. Like, even though they're not literally there, my mind sees it as them being there. So like everyday tasks that feel like I'm doing it myself, I see somebody else standing beside of me, so that it's not too scary for me. Because I wasn't scared of, like, I used to always want to be alone. Like, I hated people. Like, people scared me, just because the people I had contact with weren't very nice people. And since I've been living here and got to know everybody here, I don't want to be alone ever again. It was a wrong situation to be. When I'm moving into my own flat, it makes me feel very excited, because it's something that, even though I live with a lot of people and I live away from my mum and stuff like that, it's kind of, there are rules here, and even though there's going to be like rules in like where I live, it's kind of like you can do whatever you want. You can wake up whenever you want without people telling you what to do. Well, the social clubs, when I first moved in here, I was very against them, because where you meet a lot of new people, and that was one of my fears was people. And then I lived here for a month and a half, and I started going to the clubs, and you meet incredible people at these clubs. Like, these are some people that are the happiest you've ever seen them, just because they're dancing or something like that. And especially you meet a lot of people who used to live here and who live around this area and a couple of like different places around here, and they're all friendly, they're really nice especially, and yeah, like there's really no negatives to going to the clubs. Like, if it's not your style, just give it a chance, then people will make it your style. Like, then people are amazing that you meet in them clubs. Even the staff that work at those clubs are very, very nice. Sunnyside has, I think, a close relationship with people at 05. So like there's like Kay and people who work there, like they have volunteers and you can volunteer there. Like, even some of the people that used to live here volunteer there. I don't really see my achievements. Other people tell me, oh, I've done this, I've achieved this. I don't see that, because I still have flaws, but everyone has flaws. I see that. I'd say that I've had my biggest achievement would be going out by myself, because I used to be very a one-room person. I would sit in my bedroom, play video games, sleep, eat, play video games. I would never leave my room. Like, my room was like, yeah, that was my place. Like, the only place I would want to be, and the only place where I would be. And it was very hard to go outside and walk along the street with a bunch, like walking past random people who I've never met before. So yeah, that would really, really have to be my biggest achievement, just because going out was a big thing that I didn't used to do. I still want to work on my attitude. That's a big thing, is where if I'm in a bad mood, everyone around me is in a bad mood. And I don't know, I'm very rude when I'm upset, or I don't know how to deal with it properly, because while I'd have just sit in a room, do video games and stuff like that, my emotions were really just, I didn't have any emotions. So, or my emotions were very silent. So dealing with a lot of emotions at once, like happiness, sad, like anger. Like, I used to be angry and sad as a kid a lot, but when I really moved in here and I started experiencing some of the stuff, I was like, is this happy? Like, I don't know what happy is. I've never felt it before. Which, I don't know when I was going to see this, but it might be a bit hard for her to notice that. But yeah, me being happy was a very, very bad, unusual thing for me. So dealing with that was very hard. And then from being happy, going back to being angry and sad, I just didn't know how to cope with it after that. Because when I was angry, I would just punch walls and stuff like that. Like, when I was at school, I used to headbutt glass and stuff like that, which was a very bad way of dealing with it. So when on some level, I learned how to control it, not to the full extent, because it used to burst out. But then when I come here and I was happy a lot of the time, not when I first moved in, but when I got to a few months, and then suddenly a down day would hit me, I just didn't know how to react to it, so I would just go back to the only way I know how to react to it, would be punching walls, shouting at people, arguing with people, and even some more extreme ways of hurting myself more than just punching walls, and using other stuff to cut myself with. My feelings was a big problem, and still is a big problem, because I don't think I'm ever gonna what's the word I'm looking for, overcome or something like that, all my emotions, because I'm just gonna try and work with them. My biggest help, she's gonna hate me for saying this, but Rebecca's my key worker, and the first time she knocked on my door and she asked me if I wanted to go to the shops, and we walked to the shop. She said hi. She said about hi, and she said what her name was, and she said that she was my key worker. But that was the extent of the conversation. We never spoke after that, because I was very quiet when I first come here. But taking nothing away from all the other staff that work here, all these staff here are incredible and will be some of the most helpful people you'll ever meet.